Looks like we are live now. All right. So today, agenda for today will be that we will be covering. Am I sharing my screen? No, right?
Not yet.
Just hold on.
Prabhu.
Yeah. Yes. So we'll be covering verses 19 to 23 today. Very interesting verses, very nice verses, and also some nice pastimes are associated in one or two of them. So it will be a good experience discussing them. And as usual, before proceeding, I will dedicate this session to the founder Acharya and my spiritual grandfather, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. I would also like to dedicate this session to my Guru Maharaj. And whatever I'm going to speak, I'll merely repeat what I have heard in the lectures of Srila Prabhupada. I'll merely repeat what I have read in the books of Srila Prabhupada. And I will merely repeat what I have learned from my Siksha Gurus and Guru Parampara of ISKCON. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So the agenda for today would be Mangalacharan. We'll offer some pranam mantras as usual, and then we will discuss shloka number 19 to 23. And then the floor will be open for question and answers if questions are there. I would request all of you that in the process of discussion, if you have any queries, please note them down and then we can discuss towards the end. Okay. So this was the agenda. So I'll offer some pranam mantras. If you know, you can repeat after me while staying on mute. And those, if you don't know, then just try to listen very intently because listening is also very, very purifying. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapad Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padana Sahagan Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे मुखम करोति वाचालम पंगुम लंघते गिरि यत्कृपातम हम वंदे श्री गुरुम दीनतारिणम परमानंद माधवम श्री चैतन्य ईश्वरम हरि ओम तत्सत. Okay. Let me just drop a message in the group because I don't see more people coming in. And hope they will join. Okay. So I'll share my screen again and we'll go shloka by shloka. I may switch to PPT mode if I don't know, like I didn't get much time to prepare this time. So we'll see. PPTs may be there, may not be there. But anyways, the explanations will be definitely there. Okay. So we have Aishwarya Mataji also. Welcome, Mataji. All right.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Okay, so what we are going to do. Yes. So we'll go in order since not many people are there. So, that should be fine. No need for alphabetical um, order here. So, Aishwarya Mataji, would you like to read after me?
Sure, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So just try to repeat the verses after me and then you can read the translation.
Okay.
सघोषोधार्त राष्ट्राणाम्
Shadhotarashtraणां
हृदयानि व्यदारयत्
हृदयानि व्यदारयत्
नभश्च पृथ्वीं चैव
नभश्च पृथिवीं चैव
तुमुलोऽभ्यनुनादयन्.
तुमुलोभनुनादयन्.
Yes, you can please read the translations.
Okay, Prabhuji. When from here, when Bhishma and
No. The translation, this part.
okay,
That
okay.
is the purport. If
Okay.
required, we will refer to them. Yeah.
Oh, okay, Prabhuji. The blowing of these different consoles became up,
Uproarious.
uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra.
Okay. So, very nice verse to be analyzed. And just give me a second. Very nice verse it is. And so far we have seen that the Kauravas have blew their conch shells, the Pandavas have blew their conch shells, and now it's the time and we have also seen the names of these conch shells, right? And which personality was blowing which conch shell, and the names we already know. But one thing we haven't heard so far is the sound of these conch shells, right? So one very important important thing in this particular verse, if we see here, what is it saying? So it is saying Saghosho, right? That vibration. Which vibration? We remember in the previous session that the Pandavas were blowing conch shells, and there was one very nice line in one of the verses, Shankhan Dadmo Prithak Prithak, that they blew their conch shells one after the another, right? And when that happened, so what kind of vibration it was? It produced tumulo, right? It is mentioned here, tumulo. That means tumultuous vibration, and that vibration, it vibrated. It resounded. It resounded navascha in the sky and prithvim. That means on the earth as well. So both earth and sky were vibrated because of the conch shells which were blown by the Pandavas. Like one after the another. And what was the effect that this particular vibration had? Vyadarayat. It shattered. What did it shatter? Hridayani, the hearts. Hearts of whom? Dhartarashtra, right? That means sons of Dhritarashtra, right? So this particular vibration, I mean, the Kauravas, they were very, they felt very scared and afraid. Their hearts actually shattered once Pandavas started blowing the conch shells. Now, one very important, question arises here that even Kauravas blew their conch shells, right? But we have never read any such verse in the Bhagavad Gita, or it hasn't been mentioned anywhere that the Pandavas' hearts got shattered because of uh, uh, the sounds or of the conch shells which were played by the Kauravas. They also played kettle drums, and we saw large drums, small drums, kettle drums, horns. They were playing so many instruments, right? But the hearts of Pandavas were not shattered. It's not mentioned anywhere in the Bhagavad Gita. But when it comes to the Kauravas, we see that when the Pandavas were blowing the conch shells, the Kauravas' heart shattered, right? And on the other hand, we have also seen that when Bhishma was blowing his conch shells, Duryodhana was very happy, right? That means different conch shells are having different effects on the Kauravas, right? And why is this so? Why the hearts of Pandavas were not shattered, whereas the hearts of Kauravas were shattered by hearing the conch shells of the Pandavas. Okay, so the reason which is mentioned here, I would again like to share the screen. We'll read from the purport. Okay. Yes. So you see, when Bhishma and others on the side of Duryodhana blew their respective conch shells, there was no heartbreaking on the part of Pandavas. Such occurrences are not mentioned. But in this particular verse, it is mentioned that the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra were shattered by the sounds vibrated by the Pandavas' party. This is due to the Pandavas and their confidence in Lord Krishna, right? One who takes shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he has nothing to fear even in the midst of greatest calamity. That's such a nice line and such a inspiring line, actually. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, at a later point of time, we'll read in the 8th chapter, 15th verse, if I'm not mistaken. Krishna says, Krishna actually describes how this material world is. Okay. And um, he says, I am forgetting that verse. मामुपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयम् अशाश्वतम् नाप्नुवन्ति महात्मान संसिद्धिं परमां गता. So he's giving two titles to this particular material verse, material universe, right? What he's saying, Dukkhalayam and Ashashvatam, a place which is full of miseries and a place which is Ashashvatam, that means temporary, non-permanent, right? These are the two qualities of this material world. And it can be very easily, perceived. Like if you need to do is to just look around or look within yourselves, right? Each and every individual that who is around you, they are living in continuous anxiety, whether it's me, whether it's you, our uh, family members, our neighbors, our friends, our colleagues, whatever, like you can just think of any personality. Continuous anxiety is there. An anxiety of what? Of losing our fame, losing our possessions, losing our health, losing our near and dear ones, right? So these kind of anxieties are always there. And why this is there? Why this kind of anxiety is always there? Because we have invariably placed our faith on the things and people who themselves are temporary, right? It's nothing is permanent here. Krishna himself is saying that this world is ashashvatam, it's non-permanent. And let's not be mistaken, like it's a fact that in whatever thing we have placed our faith in, whatever people we have placed our faith in, they all are themselves temporary. One day or the other they will leave. Okay, so does that mean that our life is always going to be filled with anxiety because nothing is permanent here, everything is temporary? We have placed our faith on temporary things, and because of that we are continuously anxious. So does that mean that our entire life is going to be always be in anxiety? No, there is a slight hope actually which we are having, right? There is one permanent aspect to this, and that aspect is Krishna, right? Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita 15th chapter, he says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto, matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. That means I am seated as Paramatma in everyone's heart, in the hearts of all the living entities. Yes. And because of that, we can rest assured that, wherever we are, in whichever body we are, right? Whether we are in a body of a demigod, or whether we are in a body of an insect, whether we are in the body of a very abominable creature, right? But still, Krishna will always be there, as Paramatma in our hearts. He's never going to leave us, right? A very nice analogy actually is drawn to a train journey. Our situation is can be compared to a train journey, right? In a train journey, we see that we have boarded a train, suppose, and then the train starts moving, and on different stations, different people and things are like getting onto the train, right? And as the journey progresses, the people who are sitting in our compartment, we try to strike some conversations with them, right? And over a period of time, in a few hours, we build a good rapport with them, right? And we actually get like there is a certain degree of comfort that we achieve, with those people. They are like. And in some cases, I have even seen that a very nice friendship and nice bonding also develops between two passengers, right? In a particular on a particular journey, right? So But then what happens? Like maybe after 1 day or 1.5 days of journey, as and when the stations start coming, people slowly start getting down, right? One by one, one by one. And it's very rare that something or someone will remain with you till the end of the journey, and maybe even after the journey as well. But that doesn't happen, right? More often than not, people get down at different stations, and then we are all by ourselves. Yes. Same is the case with each and every person and each and everything which is there in our lives, right? Our friends, our relatives, our loved ones, as and when the stations will come, one after the another, they will keep getting down. And that's the harsh reality of life. We need to face it, correct? And we also need to understand that under different circumstances in our lives, not everyone is going to be there. Friends may be there for certain phase of life, but in certain phases of life, they may not be there, right? Similarly, our parents will be there for a certain phase of life. In certain situations, they may not be there, right? So this is the harsh reality of life. But one who realizes that there is one personality who is always present within our hearts, and that personality is Krishna. Trust me, that person has nothing to fear after that, right? This is one personality who is not going to get down at any station, who will be there with you right from the beginning of the journey till the end of the journey, and even beyond that, when you change the body as well, right? So this is a very nice learning that we can take from this particular verse, that we should not put our faith in temporary things. We should not take shelter of temporary people or temporary things. If at all we have to take shelter, take the shelter of Krishna, right? Because then we will become fearless, absolutely fearless. And very nice line Prabhupada has written here, that person has nothing to fear even in the midst of greatest calamity. Just think about the, you know, uh, people of Vrindavan, when during the Govardhan Leela, rain was causing havoc at that time, right? Indra was furious and he was, just pouring down rains like anything uh, on Vrindavan village, actually, right? But Krishna was just lifting the Govardhan hill on his little finger, left hand of little finger, and everyone was beneath the hill, and they were literally partying there, right? They were so happy and so blissful just because Krishna was present with them, right? This is inconceivable, right? That it's like a flood all around, right? And the lightning is there, thunderbolts are being fired, right? And just because Krishna is there, people are so blissful around him, right? So this is what our faith in Krishna does to us. It makes us completely fearless. Yes. And how can we achieve shelter of Krishna in this particular age of Kali Yuga? It's by chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So I'm pretty sure all of you are still chanting, and please continue to do that. Try to increase the number of rounds, and just take the shelter of Krishna. Okay, and be fearless. Yes. So we'll move on to the next verse. Who is next? Ishita Mataji. Just kindly repeat after me, Mataji, and then you can read the purport. Not purports, translations.
Okay.
अथ व्यवस्थितान् दृष्ट्वा
व्यवस्थितान् दृष्ट्वा
धार्तराष्ट्रान् कपिध्वजः
धार्तराष्ट्रान् कपिध्वजः
प्रवृते शस्त्रसम्पाते
प्रवृतेस्त्र
धनुर्धम्य पाण्डवः
धनुरुद्यम्य पाण्डवा
ऋषिकेशं तदा वाक्यम्
ऋषिकेशं तदा वाक्यम्
इदम् आह महीपते
idam aha mahipate. Prabhuji, I was losing your voice.
Okay, let me turn off my video, maybe that will help. Yeah, that's fine, Mataji. You can read. Okay, so the explanation which I gave in the previous verse, was that without breakage completely?
Hare Krishna,
Yes.
Prabhu. It was fine for me.
It was clear,
Okay.
Prabhuji.
Okay, good. Yeah, Ishita Mataji, you can read the translation.
Prabhuji, can you
Mataji,
hear
you're on
me?
mute. Yeah, you can read that. Yes, we
Yeah,
can hear you now.
sorry. I think it was my network that wasn't that great. So
Okay.
the translation says, at that
Mhm.
time, Arjuna, the son of Pandu, seated in
Mhm.
the chariot bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra drawn in military array, Arjuna then spoke to Lord Krishna these words.
Yes. So this is another very nice verse, and we will discuss this as well. So let me stop sharing. Maybe that will preserve some bandwidth. I can turn on. So the best part of this verse is there is a small story associated with it, and I think most of you know this story. But for those people who don't know, I will just repeat repeat the story once again. And in the previous verses, we had seen that there were subtle signs of victory for Arjun, right? Can anyone recall? Like we had seen 3 signs of victory. Uh, if anyone can recall, otherwise I can repeat them.
Oh, one is the Hanumanji's picture on the flag.
Yeah, this is the first one. In the previous verse, this is in this verse. In the previous verses, we had 3 signs of victories.
There was that chariot which is given
Yes,
by
yes.
Agni Dev.
Yeah, Shwetar Her Yukte Mahati Syandane, right? We had seen that. Yes, nice,
Lord
Mataji.
himself is on Arjun's side, also sign of victory.
Yes. So Madhava, Krishna was addressed as Madhava. That means husband of Madhavi. Madhavi is the goddess of fortune, right? And the chariot on which he was seated was given by Agni Dev. And the quality of that chariot was that one whosoever was mounted on that chariot, whosoever was seated on that chariot, he would conquer all the 3 sides, all the, sorry, 3 worlds, basically, right? All sides of all the 3 worlds. So that means practically that person would be undefeated. So that was the first sign that the chariot itself was something, which guaranteed a victory to Arjun. And secondly, fortune, a goddess of fortune was there along with Madhava. We had seen that the goddess of fortune never leaves her husband, correct? So wherever Madhava is there, Madhavi is also present. That means goddess of fortune was also there on the chariot along with Arjun. That means victory and fortune were awaiting Arjun, correct? So similarly, we are now seeing that there are other signs of victory for Arjun over here, and that we will see what is written in the shloka. Dhartrashtran Kapidhwaja. Kapidhwaja means there was a flag on that chariot. Okay. And on that flag was Kapi. Kapi means Lord Hanuman was there. Right. So a very nice pastime is there associated with this particular uh, verse, uh, that how Hanuman came to be, along with the Pandavas. Like he is coming from the Treta Yuga, and this is happening in the Dwapar Yuga, right? So there is a yuga of difference between the 2 personalities. Okay, the Pandavas and the Hanuman, Lord Hanuman. So what is the story behind this? So it so happened that when Pandavas were sent to the forest in Vanvas, they had to, after losing that gambling match by Kauravas, at the hands of Kauravas, they were sent to Vanvas for 12 years. And then there was 1 year of Agyatwas. That means in living in an incognito mode. Okay. So when they were in Vanvas, they were uh, uh, in the forests of, I think, Badrika Ashram, right? In the Himalayas. They were in that forest of Badrika Ashram. And what happened in that Badrika Ashram, that Arjun was sent to the celestial planets, to the heavenly planet system by Yudhishthir and Yudhishthira instructed him to go and get some celestial weapons from there. Okay, so Arjun had already left, and Bhim was there, and in the Badrika ashram, when there was a very beautiful river known as Alaknanda River, right? And these Pandavas were residing beside the Alaknanda River. And what happened one day that Draupadi was actually going towards the river when she saw a very beautiful 1,000 petal lotus on that river, right? And it had a very, very sweet smell, actually, right? So obviously Draupadi was very attracted to that. She brought that lotus and then she showed it to Bhim, and she said that, okay, I want more of these. Can you please get me some more? And as we had seen in the previous verses, that Bhim, what was the description of Bhim given in the previous verses? Bhim karma vrikodara, right? That means he was a voracious eater and he was a Bhim karma. That means he used to perform Herculean tasks, ever ready and always charged up. So what happened? He just picked up his mace immediately and marched towards the source of Alaknanda River, right? Climbed up the forest. And that forest was very dense, So what he was doing is that he was uprooting all the big trees by his bare hands, as he was moving forward. And like how to explain it? Like so much was the uh, what to say, the charisma of this particular personality, that even the uh, ferocious wild animals, carnivorous animals, they were actually running, running away from him out of fear, right? So this was the personality of him, right? And he was just making his way, he was paving his way towards the source of Alaknanda River, moving towards the source of Alaknanda River, and just creating his own pathway. But suddenly, like while moving, he came across a big obstruction. And what was that obstruction? He's found a huge monkey, old monkey basically, and that monkey was lying on the path, right? And his tail was basically obstructing the path of Bhim. So at that time, the etiquette was that one could neither cross over the body of someone, or nor they could step over on the body of someone. Okay, that was considered as very abominable, and it was very unethical at that time. So you can just imagine, such nice etiquettes and ethics were there in previous yugas. In Kali Yuga, we don't even think, like playfully we keep on kicking and punching each other, right? But that's not the right etiquette actually. So um, Bhim actually requested, or rather commanded, that monkey that, okay, I have to go, so please remove your tail from here. Monkey did not move at all. There was no response from the side of monkey. Okay, so that actually infuriated Bhim. So he shouted this time, next time, that, can't you hear me? Just remove this tail from here. I have to go. You are obstructing my path. So monkey turned around and he said that, look, I'm already a very old monkey, very frail. I don't even have strength to move my own tail. So you look very big and strong. So why don't you do one thing? You can just, like lift my tail and move it aside, and then you can go your way. No problems. So Bhim said, yeah, that would be a better idea. And then he just bent down to move the tail of that monkey. Initially, he thought that it will be an easy thing to do, but when he applied some strength, and mind you, Bhima had the strength of 10,000 elephants, right? So just imagine that he's trying to move the tail of that monkey, and that tail is not moving an inch, right? Slowly he increased the strength and kept on increasing his strength. And at one point of time, he just applied his entire strength, right? 10,000 elephants. Just imagine that kind of strength. But he was not able to move the tail of that monkey at all, right? So when this happened, he immediately understood that, okay, this personality is someone special. This is not an ordinary monkey. So immediately he became humble and bowed down towards the monkey and said that, just please reveal me, reveal your actual form. Who are you actually? I can easily figure out that you are not an ordinary monkey. So at that time, Lord Hanuman showed himself in his actual form, and he said that, how could you not recognize me, brother? Right? I am also Pavan Putra Hanuman, and you are also the son of Vayudev. Right? We are brothers. So just imagine two brothers meeting, after a span of one yuga or so, right? One is from Treta Yuga, another one is from Dwapar Yuga, right? And very nicely, they actually sat together. They had some very nice conversations together. And it was then when Bhim told him that we are going to going on a war in a very short period of time. Preparations are on for that. Why don't you fight on from our side, actually, right, against the Kauravas? So Hanuman said that just look at me. What are you talking about, brother? Look at my size. Like I'm from Treta Yuga, I'm huge, and I don't even need an army to kill the uh, army of Kauravas. I can do that in just an instant, just like that. Okay, so they can't even match my strength. So this will not be an equal competition, and this will not be very ethical, right? So it's better that you all go to the battlefield and fight. I can offer my indirect support and blessings. And how that indirect support will be, that Lord Hanuman said that I'll be sitting on the flag of your brother Arjun. Okay. And whenever you roar on the battlefield, I'll roar along with you. And together our voices will shatter the hearts of all the enemies who are there. Right. So this was a nice, kind of story or a pastime behind how Lord Hanuman came to be, seated on the flag of Arjun's Ratha, right? And it was not that that particular flag had just a print of or a photograph of Lord Hanuman on that. It was an actual incarnation of Lord Hanuman, okay, on that flag. So this was very nice, like a pastime which is there. And another important thing is that we also need to understand that as we'll progress um, maybe 2 or 3 verses or maybe 5 verses after this, we will see that at one point of time Arjun becomes completely like reluctant to fight. He says that, okay, Krishna, I'm just my Gandiva is slipping from my hand, my mouth is drying up, my skin is burning, I just cannot fight this battle anymore. Okay, and he just sits on that chariot. So at that point of time, Hanuman was there on his chariot, on the flag. He could have shown himself and just he could have said that you are a coward, you just move aside, let me finish things off, and he could have killed the Kauravas in an instant, just like that. But he didn't do that. He just remained in the flag. He never showed himself, like openly. Why? Because he understood what Krishna or what you know uh, Supreme Personality of Godhead or what Lord Ram expects from him, right? And he knew that at that time Krishna didn't want him to fight. He wanted Arjun to fight that battle, right? So he quietly stayed in the flag itself. Similarly, the one another teaching that we can take from this particular verse is that we too need to understand what Krishna wants from us, and we need to lead our life or behave in that particular manner. Okay, how can it be done? By reading the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the best life manual. It is an instruction given to all of us, the entire mankind, by none other than Krishna himself. So once we read this Bhagavad Gita very nicely, scrutinizingly, it will be very clear for all of us that what Krishna is expecting from us, and we should try to lead our life in that manner. So I'll quickly share my screen. We'll read a few lines from the purport. This is a very nice verse, actually. So some more things will be clear with that. Okay. So how Lord Hanuman is another sign of victory, that we will see here in the purport of Srila Prabhupada. The emblem of Hanuman on the flag of Arjun is another sign of victory because Hanuman cooperated with Lord Ram in the battle between Ram and Ravan, and Lord Ram emerged victorious. This is about Ramayana, right? And now both Ram and Hanuman were present on the chariot. How Ram is present on the chariot of Arjuna? Lord Krishna himself, Lord Krishna is Ram himself, right? And wherever Lord Ram is, his eternal servitor Hanuman and his eternal consort Sita, the goddess of fortune, are present. So, goddess of fortune we had seen in the previous verse, the Ratha on which they were seated, we had seen. Krishna himself was present, we had seen in the previous verse. Now, Lord Hanuman is also there. And because there is no difference between Lord Ram and Lord Krishna, we can easily see that this is another sign of victory for Arjun. Okay. Therefore, Arjun had no cause to fear for any enemies whatsoever. And above all, Lord of all senses, Lord Krishna, was personally present to give him directions. Thus, all good counsel was available to Arjun in the matter of executing the battle. Okay, such auspicious conditions are arranged by the Lord for his eternal devotee, lay signs of assured victory. Okay, so this is a very nice verse. Again. Okay, so 21 and 22 we will read. Who is next? Meenu Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So just I'll read out, try to repeat after me. Arjun Uvacha
Arjuna Vacha
Senayorubhayor Madhye
Senayor Ubhayor Madhye
Ratham Sthapaya Mechuta
Ratham Sthapaya Mechuta
Yavadetan Niriksheham
Ya what is Yaved
Yavadetan Niriksheham
Yaveditam Niriksheham
Yodhukamana Yodhukamanavasthitan
Yodhu Kaman Avasthitan
Kairmaya Sah Yodhavyam
Kairmaya Saya Yodham
Asmin Rana Samudhyame.
Asmin Rana Samudhyame.
Yes. These two are very important verses, and for the first time, Arjun is speaking in the Bhagavad Gita, right? And we will also see some qualities of Krishna in this particular verse. Okay, so can you please read the translation, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Arjun said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I might contend in this great trial
of
of
arms. Yes, very nice verse this is. So for the first time, we see that Arjun is speaking, and what is he doing? He's instructing Krishna, O Achyuta. There's another very nice name of Krishna mentioned in this particular verse, that is Achyuta. Okay, O Achyuta. And what is he saying? Please take this chariot and station it between the two armies. Why? So that I can see who all have come to fight, how bent they are to fight actually, and with whom I will have to contend, or I will have to fight in this battle, basically, right? So again, I'll share my screen. Very nice things that we need to see in the purport, basically. Yes. So in the purport, what Srila Prabhupada is saying, yes, he means Krishna. He is addressed as infallible or Achyuta, right? Although he had accepted the position of a charioteer for his devotee, the supreme position was not challenged. In all circumstances, the supreme personality of Godhead, Rishikesha, is the Lord of the total senses. Okay, so and the relationship between Lord and his servitor is very sweet and transcendental, right? So one thing we need to understand here, that whenever it comes to a master and a servant relationship, okay, or a servitor or the served relationship, it is looked down upon, in the material world, especially in this age of Kali Yuga, right? No one wants to be a servant of someone, because why? The moment we utter this word servant, immediately what kind of picture comes into our mind, that okay, someone will be ordering us to do certain things, and we will have to carry out those orders without challenging that person. Okay, and at times we will even have to, what to say, swallow our pride, basically, in doing that, right? We are actually facing that scenario in day-to-day life, in our office, at our workplace, or when we are talking to some of our seniors or some government officials. These kind of things are there. Okay, so but when it comes to Krishna, okay, although we say that Jiver Sharup Hoy Krishner Nityadas, that means the eternal constitutional position of every living entity is to be the loving servant of Krishna. So this servant and master relationship is very different from what we see here in this material world. Okay, uh, the best part, or the sweetest part of this relationship is that this servant or the devotee is very eager to serve Krishna, And to the same extent, Krishna is also very eager to serve the devotee. Okay, so this is the sweetest part of this particular relation, and that is what Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport here. The relationship between Lord and his servitor is very sweet and transcendental. The servitor is always ready to render service to the Lord, and similarly, Lord is always taking an opportunity to render some service to the devotee. Right. So now, devotee serving the Lord, we have so many examples. Right, but Lord serving the devotee. Where can we find such an example? So this particular verse is, that example here, right? That Krishna, that Arjun is instructing directly Krishna to Krishna. Oh Krishna, oh Achyuta, take my chariot in between the two armies. So direct order is being given to whom? To the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? And we'll see who actually Krishna is. Like it is being described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, I'll try to quote one very nice verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, but we'll try to see. Okay, so but how does Krishna how does Krishna take this kind of relationship, like that when a devotee is actually instructing, giving him instructions directly? Okay, so he takes a greater pleasure in his pure devotees assuming the advantageous position of ordering him than he does in being the giver of orders, right? So Krishna is actually taking more pleasure, that when a pure devotee of Krishna directly gives him some orders, right? And just see, like, imagine that Krishna is basically the hero of Bhagavad Gita, right? In any movie you consider, when the hero's entrance is there, don't you feel that the entrance is really grand? Some very nice background music is going on. If it's an action movie, some bomb blasts are happening, beside him, and that uh, very nice personality hero is having a very nice personality, carrying maybe some weapons, and slow motion, he's just entering into the scene, right? And just see how Krishna is entering into the scene of Bhagavad Gita as a chariot driver of his devotee, right? So this is the sweetness of Krishna. Okay, and another very nice pastime of Krishna, where Krishna is actually serving his devotee, we will find in Srimad Bhagavatam in the Lila, right? Where Nand Maharaj used to instruct Krishna directly, or Mother Yashoda, used to run after him, chase him around with a stick. Nand Maharaj actually used to, directly instruct him that, oh Krishna, can you please bring my footwear? Okay. And Krishna would just go, that he was very little at that time. He would just go to the footwear of Nand Maharaj. Somehow he would, pick it up with his lotus-like hands and put it on his head. And then, slowly he would bring that footwear to Nand Maharaj. Now just imagine that we are not talking about any Tom, Dick and Harry here. He is the Supreme Personality. He is the ultimate cause of all causes. Ishvara Parama Krishna, right? He is the Supreme Controller, ultimate cause of all causes, the source of all material and spiritual worlds. And that Supreme Personality is carrying, I mean, even the greatest personality, like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, they are actually seeking an opportunity, to put the feet of Krishna on their head, or the dust of the lotus feet of Krishna on their head, right? But here Krishna is just putting the footwear of his own devotee on his head. Just imagine, the kind of, what to say, the greatness of Krishna, or the sweetness of Krishna. Yes. So this was another pastime. And one very nice verse that I would like to quote here, in Srimad Bhagavatam, this will give you an idea about who Krishna is. And this Krishna is saying about himself. What does he say in Srimad Bhagavatam? It's from 3rd canto, 25th chapter, 42nd verse. And it says, Madbhayat Madbhayadvati vatovyam Suryastapati Madbhayat Varshatindro dahat Agnir Mrityushcharati Madbhayat. The translation of this verse is that it is because of my supremacy that wind blows out of fear of me. Krishna is saying this, okay? The sun shines out of fear of me, and the Lord of the clouds, Indra, sends forth the showers out of fear of me. Fire burns out of fear of me, and death goes about taking the toll out of fear of me. My God, you can just imagine. So all these great personalities, okay, the Pavan Dev, okay, the wind demigod, and the sun, Surya Dev, right? the Indra, right, and fire. These are all actually, they accept the supremacy of Krishna, and out of his fear, they are just carrying out the orders. The Lord of Death, Yamraj, he is killing people just because of Krishna's orders, right? They are just carrying out those orders. And just see here, that Supreme Personality is just carrying out orders of his pure devotee, either being as a charioteer of the particular devotee, or carrying the footwear of his pure devotee. Or just imagine the relationship between Mother Yashoda and Krishna, right? She chases him around with a stick, right? And with a great anxiety and fear and tears in his eyes, Krishna is running about, in Vrindavan, right? Being chased by his mother. And so, see, the bottom line is that one who realizes the sweetness of Krishna, okay, that person simply cannot avoid falling in love with Krishna, okay? And this is what this particular verse is all about. These two verses are all about, right? That Krishna is ready to do anything for his pure devotee. In fact, in the Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter, he says, Sarv dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja, right? Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. This is what Krishna is saying, but there is one line which is silent, that you surrender unto me and I will surrender unto you, right? This is what Krishna is saying. Okay, so with that, I would like to move on to the last verse for today. Again, I'll share my screen. And who do we have next? Shweta Mataji, Meenu Mataji is there. Shweta Mataji next. Mataji, would you be able to read if I read out?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So this is the 23rd verse. Yotse manana veksheham
योत्समानानवेक्षेऽहम्
ya etetra samagataha
य एतेऽत्र समागताः
dhartarashtrasya durbuddher
धार्तराष्ट्रास्य दुर्बुद्धेर्
युद्धे प्रिय चिकीर्षवः.
युद्धे प्रियचिकीर्षवः.
Very nice, Mataji. You can read the translation, please.
Yeah, translation. Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra.
Yes. So this is a very nice verse, again, like a small pastime, which you all know, but I'll repeat that one as well. And another important thing to note before we get into that pastime is that every time it is mentioned here, Dhartarashtrasya, and Duryodhan is basically referred to as Dhartarashtrasya, that means son of Dhritarashtra, and Durubuddher, that means his intelligence was already gone. I mean, it's pretty evident. And Dhartarashtrasya, he is being referred that he is a son of Dhritarashtra. That means it implicitly implies that Dhritarashtra is also equally guilty, right? In putting the Kauravas and Pandavas on the battlefield. Yes, because it was just because of his desire, to rule over the kingdom of Hastinapur, the brothers were ready to shed each other's blood on the battlefield. Yes, and we'll read on the purport. And so basically Arjun is saying that he wanted to see that who all have come there to fight. Okay, so we'll see what is written in the purport here, that it was an open secret that Duryodhan wanted to usurp the kingdom of Pandavas by evil plans in collaboration with his father Dhritarashtra. Therefore, all persons who had joined on the side of Duryodhan must have been the birds of same feather. So Prabhupada is calling them birds of same feather. Everyone who was taking the side of Kauravas, because this was not just an ordinary fight or ordinary battle, it was a fight between the dharma and adharma. So anyone who was taking the side of Duryodhan was practically on the side of adharma, right? Arjun wanted to see them on the battlefield before the fight was begun. And let me tell you, there is also one very small subtle hidden thing over here, okay, in this particular verse, just to learn who they were. But he had no intention of proposing peace negotiations with them. Okay, it was also a fact that he wanted to see them, to make them to make an estimate of the strength which he had to face, although he was quite confident of victory because Krishna was sitting by his side. So there was no doubts or no hesitation on the side of Arjun, because Krishna was there by his side, and pure devotees, they are always surrendered and they always depend completely on Krishna. Okay, they have full faith on Krishna, so there was no doubts whatsoever in his mind. Okay, that whether to fight or not to fight. No, sorry, not about that. That about the victory. That who is going to be victorious in that battle. Okay, so but he had also no intention of peace negotiations. Now, why this happened? It has a small pastime associated with that. That just before Kurukshetra war started, just before the final decision was taken, that there was no other solution apart from going on war. Krishna actually went to Hastinapur as a Shanti Doot, and from the side of Pandavas, basically. Pandavas had sent him that, okay, just try to give them one last chance. In case they want to negotiate any peace, we'll be ready. Okay. And Krishna had, brought down that deal to a very great extent. Okay. Krishna said that, okay, you don't want to give them Hastinapur, it's fine. You can take the Hastinapur. You don't want to give them the Indraprastha, that's fine. You can take the Indraprastha also with you. But since these are Kshatriyas and they do not have any other occupation, the Pandavas, so at least give them 5 villages so that they can rule upon. The Kshatriyas needed to rule upon something. Okay, so something and someone. So he said that just give them 5 villages, they will be satisfied with that. Okay, so rest everything you can take. So to this proposal, the Duryodhan's reply, like, just see the arrogance of that personality, right? I mean, he said that he was not even willing to give a land which was of the size of the tip of the needle, right? What to speak of 5 villages, right? This was the reply of Duryodhan. So when that happened, and he also tried to, make Krishna the captive, like he just tried to bind Krishna with the chains, actually. Yeah, so another very heinous act he committed after what he had done to Draupadi, right? So with all these things, like, it was pretty clear that war was inevitable now. So this is the reason why it is clearly mentioned here that he had no intentions of peace negotiations with them. Okay, but another aspect of this verse is that this particular verse, okay, the very fact that Arjun wants Krishna to take the chariot between the two armies and he wants to see who all have come to fight, gives a subtle hint about his indecisiveness on fighting the battle, right? That doubts were already starting to creep into his mind whether he should fight or whether he should not fight. Okay, so these are some of the points which are from this particular verse. And I would like to pause here now. I hope all the explanations were clear to all of you, and there was no disturbances, because last time I was watching the recording, it was horrible. Actually, there were so many, the voice was cut at so many occasions in between. So, but I hope this time it's good, and all of you were able to hear it nicely. So now I would like to open the floor for the question and answers. And if you have any queries or any realizations also, if you want to share, if you liked some part, of this particular lecture, or in these verses that we discussed today, please feel free to share.
Prabhuji, I would like to go first.
Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Somebody was saying something.
Yeah.
Okay, so Prabhuji, first of all, the way you explain this is 1 hour that like goes away like in a whisker. Doesn't feel like an hour.
Hari.
Uh,
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Prabhuji, I had one question while hearing the last recording that I heard and today's session.
Mm.
Was did Duryodhan wanted some kind of mukti from something? I mean, in this Kali Yuga also, there are people who know what they are doing, and at the end, he is the only one. Krishna is the only one. That wasn't Kali Yuga at that point in time. And there was some little more knowledge about God, about Krishna. Did Duryodhan did all this? I mean, it's more like in our language, panga lena.
Correct.
Every point in time, panga liya hai, and was he looking for some kind of mukti?
No.
If this person kills me, then I am okay.
No, that was not the case, Mataji. Like what you are talking about, that's a different level of. See, when it comes to Krishna, everything is absolute for him. Okay, Krishna doesn't discriminate between the enemies, between his enemies or his friends or a devotee or someone who is an atheist altogether. Right? He takes care of the atheists also, and when he deals with those enemies, like people whom he has killed, like for example Kansa, or he killed so many demons. Actually, that is one way of showering his mercy on them. Okay, that means in their past life or in that particular life, they were doing something extraordinary, so that Krishna was able to touch them, touch their bodies. Actually, even for fighting, if he was touching them, it was a great thing, right? We have seen in the case of Kalia Nag's pastime also. Even the Chanur and Mustik, the two wrestlers who were killed by Krishna and Balram. Right? It's not an easy thing to come in contact with Krishna's body, right? So even for Kansa, for that matter, like that guy was always anxious, in that anxiety, he was always chanting Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So all his, punya karmas and bad karmas were already burnt, actually. So that was the way to deal. That is the way of Krishna's dealing with, people with in the different modes of material nature. But in this case of Duryodhan was not that intelligent. Actually, it was pretty clear. It's pretty clear in Mahabharata also. And I think Vasavi Mataji's few sessions back, she also asked the same question, that towards the end of Mahabharata, was Duryodhan, apologetic about his actions? But the thing is that apart from Bhishma Dev, Dronacharya, not even Dronacharya, I think Kripacharya and a few more personalities, Vidur was there. No one actually understood Krishna. Like no one identified him. No one was able to identify him as the supreme personality of Godhead. Uh, Even like personalities like Duryodhan and Karna, they thought that okay, he's what to say, a cowherd boy who has some special powers. Okay, like that. That was their perception about Krishna. So they definitely didn't have that intelligence to get a mukti or something. They were not looking for any mukti. As a matter of fact, when that last fight between Duryodhan and Bhim happened, right? Um, so like before that, he had Duryodhan had gone to Gandhari, and Gandhari just she had scanned his body from top to bottom, and it had turned like as hard like a vajra, right? So no weapon was able to make any harm, cause any harm to his body at that time. So only some of his private parts, area near his private parts, were actually like she was not able to see them, and that they were the most vulnerable things. And then Duryodhan had attacked, sorry, Bhim had attacked the thighs of Duryodhan, right, to kill him actually. So when that happened, even at his deathbed, when he was dying, he was actually very proud that okay, Bhima won just because he broke the rules of the Gada Yudh. So the rules of the Gada Yudh was that you are not supposed to hit your opponent below the waistline, actually, right? But Bhim had done that on instruction of Lord Sri Krishna. So Duryodhan was thinking that okay, he just did that, he won because he was breaking the rules. So that was the kind of mindset he was in. And even at his deathbed, he had instructed Ashwathama to go and kill the Pandavas. That when they were sleeping, just try and go and kill them. Okay, so this was his mood actually. So no, he was not looking for any mukti. He did not had that intelligence actually, and never wanted to any compromise from the Pandavas. Did I answer your question, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, you did.
Yeah. Yes. Anyone else who wants to ask anything else?
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
I
Krishna.
wanted to ask one question. Like Krishna is a supreme personality. So if Duryodhan couldn't able to realize like what is his fault, and
Mhm.
as you mentioned, like Karna also didn't know like he is the
Mhm.
supreme personality. So it's
Mhm.
Krishna wish only, like
Mhm.
he didn't want to make them realize like he is
Yes,
the
of
supreme
course.
personality of God.
Absolutely.
Or
Yeah. That's what he says in the
so
Bhagavad Gita, right? That I'm not um, uh, what to say, accessible to people who do not have any faith in me or who consider me as an ordinary human being, because for them I remain hidden by my potency, okay, internal potency, which is known as Vishnu Maya, right? right? So she actually covers
Yeah.
our eyes, basically. Just like the clouds cover the sun, that doesn't mean sun is not there, right? Sun is very much there, but it's the fault of our eyes
Yes.
that we are
Yes.
not able to
Prabhuji.
see, right? And also he says that I reveal myself um, to the degree to which a particular devotee surrenders unto me. Okay, so if I am okay, once in a while, if I go to the temple, I take the darshan, fine, that is one level of devotion. Some people, like spend some more time in the devotional services, whereas there are people who have just devoted their entire lives, in the service of Krishna. So Krishna's reciprocation to these three kind of people will be to different degrees, basically. So yes, you're right. You're right in that
Yes,
way.
Prabhuji. And one more thing. So because of that, in Kali Yuga also, some
Hmm.
people are understanding like God is there.
Hmm.
He is the only personality controlling the all things, and
Correct.
according to him only our life is going on. But
Hmm.
some people, even if we try to tell them, they are not
Hmm.
able to accepting that something is there is controlling. So
Yes.
it is the same way like what happened with Karna and
Yeah. Absolutely. See, I mean, see, this is what, like, if you, once we read the Bhagavad Gita in depth, like we will be reading in the later chapters, such people, the people whom you are talking about, they are known as Maya Aprita Jnana. This particular term is used for them. Maya Aprita Jnana means that those people whose intelligence have been stolen away by Maya. Those people may be, materialistically, they might be very educated people, like scholars, scientists, and other things,
yes,
right? But because their intelligence have been stolen away by Maya, they are not able to see the things as they are. Right? They are not ready to believe that there is a supreme controller, and then they try to control everything, and in that process, they mess everything up, right? Rather than
yes,
controlling.
Prabhuji. Yes,
Yeah.
Prabhuji. So like they can understand in that way. Like I'm realizing that even after operation, also doctor is like giving hand to like prayers can work. So one time it
Yes,
will come like yeah.
correct.
So
Mhm.
yeah. So yeah.
Yeah,
And
in difficult
one
difficult times, we remember God. Otherwise, not.
yeah, yeah, that is the thing. Yeah. So that time people who don't believe, they try to believe like
Mhm.
for some sake of hope, not like
Mhm.
completely
Correct.
surrendering, like sake of hope or
Yeah.
something. So,
That we have
so that
seen,
is
like
one thing.
very
And
recently, we have seen Mataji, like when the COVID was there, right? And suddenly there was an upsurge, like right now, how many people are there? I think 5 or 7 people are in this session, right? And during the COVID time, 30, 40 people were just attending. And that was the minimum attendance. Sometimes even 100, 200, that kind of, people were attending the sessions. The sale of the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam had shot up like anything during the COVID lockdown time. Right? As soon as the lockdown was over, the attendance also subsided, and people stopped reading the Bhagavad Gita again. So
yes, Prabhuji. And I like the first part as you mentioned, no, like everything is temporary, only God will be with
mm,
us, like for
yeah.
the end of our life. So that I
Mm,
realized when my grandfather passed away. So that
mm,
time I realized completely
mm.
uh, no one will be with us like for
Yeah,
long time. So everything is
absolutely.
temporary. Only that
Mm.
yeah.
Nothing can be done. I mean, what I see, no one is, they themselves are temporary. Even the Devi and Devatas whom we are worshipping, they also
Mm-hmm.
are not permanent. Like when there is a pralaya, everything will, it will be completely annihilated. And even Lord Brahma, like we'll see in the Bhagavad Gita itself, that he lives for 100 years. Although his 100 years is very big compared to the 100 years on Earth, but that relative time span is given. But then still, like he has a age limit actually. So when Lord Brahma is not exempted, then who are we, right? So it's everything is temporary. This Krishna himself, who is the creator of all the spiritual and material worlds, he is saying that this place is a dukhalayam. That
Prabhuji,
means
yes.
you always get the dukh and a shashvatam. It's temporary. Yeah, go ahead, Mataji.
And Prabhuji, one small request. My friend's father, he's in like heart operation. I need some prayer, like for whoever is there, like I need some
Mhm.
kind of prayer for him. So that is the one
Okay.
request from my side.
Yeah, sure. So what we can do is that we can chant Narsimha Kavach for him once. All of you can just unmute yourselves, and we will just chant Narsimha Kavach for him. Okay. It's a very beautiful sloka and a very powerful sloka also, especially, like if someone is not well in the family, or if there is some imminent danger, we all can chant this one. So please repeat after me. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Ugram Veeram Mahavishnum
Ugram Veeram Mahavishnu
Jwalantam Sarvato Mukham
Jwalantam Sarvatomukham
Narsimham Bhishanam Bhadram
Simham Bhishanam Bhadram
Mrityur Mrityum Namamyaham.
Mrityur Mrityum Namamyaham.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all. So I think, I hope that he successfully makes out of the operation theater. That's all we can do. We can pray for the well-being of all the devotees and their families. And with that, I think we should conclude the session. It's already 6:15. So even I need to hurry. So thank you all once again for joining. Next week, I think I have another work. I'll let you guys know whether I'll be available or not. If not, then maybe I'll request Bhashwati Mataji to take some another session where, something similar to what we had seen in one of our previous sessions, where we spoke about our founder Acharya A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Some similar documentary or some, nice video of some senior Acharya, we will try to play if I'm not available. Right? If I'm there, then obviously the classes will be there. Okay, I'll keep you all posted. Thank you so much once again for. Yeah.
Prabhuji, before
please.
we let you go, this could be a little out of context question, but I
Please.
really needed some help about it. I won't take more than 5 minutes from you.
No, that's fine, Mataji. Take your time.
So with my last name, it's pretty evident that I'm Bengali.
Okay.
And unfortunately, Bengalis being Hindus, they are into meat eating and different type of meat eating. I was also there, but then it's more than a few years that I have quitted, understanding what I am here for. Now, with that, I see a lot of khuzar are happening in my family.
Okay.
Surprisingly, they try to understand what it is. They ask me, is it like the vegan thing that you're following? That's what my cousin says. My elders, my mother's chacha ji, I mean, he's a very old man, and he is very respected in the family too. He's also like, kya kar rahi ho aajkal? And I sometimes do not have answers to it. गीता पाठ कर रही हो, माला लेके घूमती हो, क्या हुआ? मतलब, are you happy in your life? Yes, I am happy in my life, but I don't have any answers to them. And they also ask me this particular question: who do you follow? I want a good answer that I can give it to them without
offending them. Offending them, or
egos, or offending them. Yes.
No, so that's very simple, Mataji. Like you clearly tell them. I think since you are a Bengali, it's even better, because people in Bengal, they are very much aware of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he appeared in the state of Bengal, right? So I think there is a lot of following, in West Bengal, especially, today. So you can just tell that we are followers of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, which was founded by none other than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we are ardent devotees of Lord Krishna, and that actually this particular devotion, instructs us basically to give up all kinds of non-vegetarian food, right? And they may, if they are asking that whether are you happy or not, then you say yes, you are happy, because see, this definition of happiness can vary from person to person, right? Some person may be very happy partying in the nightclub, having good times, so-called good time with their friends, and drinking and dancing and doing all those things. But at the same time, for some person, spending some time in solitude, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, or that can be the source of great happiness, right? So it all depends on person to person, and and there is nothing wrong. Like if you can just instruct them that what are it is clearly mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita that meat eating is actually forbidden. Yes, and if you want, I can give you certain references also where it is directly said. In the Manusmriti, especially, that there are 6 people who incur the sinful reactions. If you are consuming meat, first is that person who actually, the animal to which that person belong, the animal, the person to which that animal belongs. Okay, the owner of that animal, that one who gives the orders to kill that particular animal, he or she is a part of that sinful reaction. Person who purchases the meat, okay, they are the part of the sinful reaction. The person who cuts that animal, kills the animal, they are the part of sinful reaction. The person who cooks, right, and serves the meat, they are also the part of that particular sinful reactions. Okay, so what Prabhupada used to say is that, see, I know that you are not alone, Mataji, especially in my Bhakti Vriksha. There are especially Matajis, actually, that the family is not very supportive. They are into non-vegetarian food eating, and whereas the Matajis are actually vegetarians, right? And they are struggling. But then Prabhupada has clearly instructed that, see, every individual is flying their own planes. Okay, as long as the plane is there on the runway, there are a lot of support staff there. Okay, the ground staff is there, the control tower is there, right? And people are there to help that plane out if it's in some sort of a danger. But once the plane takes off and starts flying, it's up to the pilot, basically, right? So we all are flying our individual planes, and our target should be to first save ourselves. Okay, what people are doing all around is, we should not be bothered much about it. They may ask questions, some difficult questions might be asked, but you remain resolute, in your what to say, decision. Okay, be absolutely resolute and firm with your decision that what I am doing is absolutely right. What I am doing is in accordance with the Shastras. Okay, so there is absolutely no need to worry. As we saw in this particular session, that the person who has completely surrendered to Krishna will be fearless even in the midst of greatest calamities, right? So you don't need to worry at all. Just keep on. I think it's very good that you have become a vegetarian yourself. If possible, try to inspire them, okay, by citing references. I can give you the references from the Bhagavad Gita as well as from Manu Samhita. Okay, and there is absolutely no harm. Just you say that we are Krishna worshippers, we are following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and I think once you say Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as you mentioned that your uncle is a aged man, so like he must be knowing already that who is Lord Chaitanya, right? Because his appearance was in Bengal itself, and like what to say, all of you are very fortunate, Mataji, actually, that you have been born in the state of Bengal where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually appeared, and he appeared just 500 years back, right? So you have the opportunity, and then just perfect your life. That's it. I mean, if someone asks if any specific questions are there, then just direct it to me. I can give you the answers. Okay. Sometimes it can
So,
be very subjective. Yeah.
yeah, so probably I would like to add, like,
Hmm.
this question was asked to me as well, like, why are you chanting? Like,
Hmm.
abhi se budhapa aa gaya hai, why are you
Exactly.
doing like this? Yeah. So I gave them one very simple answer. I just gave them that I am chanting and I know the benefit of chanting. Like,
Hmm.
I am in my peaceful mind. I don't feel sad. I don't feel anything. I just feel happy in any situation, any panic situation. I never panic. I explain to them all this. So
Yes.
then they get surprised. Okay, you get so many benefits. So
Hmm.
then they get attracted. Okay, let's
Hmm.
try. I will also try. I can also
Correct.
feel the same.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
in the same way, eating meat gives your body heat. So
Hmm.
if whoever is facing this issue, you should explain that what benefit you are getting. Because
Yes.
in the world, people are materialistic. Until and unless you will show them that what happiness you are getting from that particular thing, they will
Hmm.
never understand. They will cross
Absolutely.
question you.
Absolutely. Very nicely explained, Mataji. And one more thing, like I would say, especially people who say that abhi se budhapa aa gaya, kya abhi se kyun chanting karni hai, right? So to them, just tell me that, see, budhapa aa gaya ya I'm getting old or I'm young, this is a very big statement that they are making. When once you say that तुम तो अभी बहुत कम एज के हो, अभी से करने की क्या जरूरत है, right? That means when you are saying that तुम तो अभी बहुत कम एज की हो, which means that you are indirectly making a very strong statement that you know exactly my time, place, and circumstances of death. what if I die in next 2 hours? Right? उस time I cannot go to Yamraj and say, अरे यार मैं तो chanting करने ही वाला था, आपने पहले बुला लिया. ऐसे तो नहीं होता.
हाँ.
Right? We cannot say that, right? So there is no particular age actually chanting. Ideally, if you read Srimad Bhagavatam, chanting or rather bhakti should start from when a particular child is in the womb of the mother. Right? Prahlad Maharaj did that. Right? Then and only then we can say that, okay, we are perfect. We have already wasted 35, 40, whatever, that many years of our lives. So, I mean, we are already late in this actually. Budhapa aaya nahi hai, we are already late actually. So, this kind of
Yes,
answers
yes.
you can do. Yeah.
I am totally inspired by that Bhagavad Prabhu, which we see in the ads. Like, he knows at such a small age, he knows everything. Like, I
Yes.
get jealous of him. Like, at that age, I never knew what is Hare Krishna.
Yeah. I was absolutely nothing. I was just enjoying as a
Yes,
kid. Yeah.
yes,
Going to school, playing cricket,
yes.
whatever people do in India. Yeah. So coming to Krishna consciousness is one of the best things that has happened to me. So I will be eternally grateful to Krishna that somehow, if someday maybe I can narrate like how I came. But if you read, I mean, what to say, not read, but if you come to know about my story, my journey to Krishna consciousness, you will just see that I was simply picked up from the streets and made a devotee. There is absolutely no qualification in me to become a devotee. Trust me on that. So I was very arrogant and what to say. But yeah, sometime later I can discuss this. But yeah. So these are the kind of answers that you can give them. And if there is any specific questions related to foodstuffs or related to chanting, you can just directly message me. No problems at all. I'll try my best to answer them. If not, I'll try to get it answered by some senior acharyas. So that's fine.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, so I think we are already over time now. Yeah, I would like to end the session now. Thank you